Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another CCW Custom Universe Mode stream. I am your host, Celtic Fan 97, and we're coming at you live today with CCW Fight Night Episode 5. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Episode 5. What a... How... sorry. Ooh. Alright, come on, Nick. You're good there, brother. Alright, well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is CCW Episode 5. CCW Fight Night Episode 5, of course. We have an incredible card for you guys tonight. Hold on, just want to get everything set up here. Perfect. Alright, so we got an incredible card for you guys tonight. Of course, coming off the backs of the explosive episode that we had last week. Lots has changed, and we are still gearing up for our first super card. Of course, that super card will be CCW Birthday Bash on June the 18th, Father's Day. June the 18th, June the 19th. Father's Day. It'll be Father's Day in June. And our first supercard's coming up. We have one match already set, locked in for CCW Birthday Bash. It's going to be a rematch for the Women's Championship. That's right. The current champion, Chelsea, will defend her championship against Manick at CCW Birthday Bash. So the first card has been match has been set for our super card. The Women's Championship on the line, of course, June 18th, 19th, Father's Day, CCW Birthday Bash, Chelsea versus Manick, Women's Championship match. But let's not talk about the Women's Championship match. Let's talk about tonight. CCW Fight Night Episode 5, live streamed here on Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. I hope that your week has gone by relatively smoothly, and I hope that you guys are ready to enjoy the weekend. But as much as I'm ready to enjoy the weekend, I'm ready to enjoy some CCW Universe Mode. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we have a spectacular card. We're about to run it down right now. In our opening contest, we are going to, 1 week after possibly the most embarrassing loss in Daniel's career, Daniel went one-on-one with one half of the Anarchists, Dylan, last week, and lost. One of the biggest upsets in CCW in recent memory. Tonight, Daniel has gone to CCW management, and he has asked to make the Anarchists the sacrificial lambs by making a tag team match pitting the Anarchists versus the Chicken Tendy crew, David and Nate Dogg. But this will be no ordinary tag team match, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to take place inside of a steel cage. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, a steel cage tornado tag team match to kick things off here on Fight Night. Donovan and Dylan, the Anarchists, versus David and Nate Dogg, the Chicken Tendy crew. What a matchup that is going to be to kick us off here tonight. But also tonight, we're going to see a couple of tune-up matches ahead of the Women's Championship match at Birthday Bash. We're going to see both champion and challenger in tune-up matches over the next couple of weeks as they prepare for their big title fight at the Supercard. And tonight, we're going to get Manick's first tune-up match. It is going to be a rematch from a number of weeks ago. It is going to be Manick versus Sarah in singles competition. Just ignore the bags rattling in the background. I'm just picking them up off the floor. But it'll be Manick versus Sarah in what was an extremely competitive match the last time that these two stepped in the ring together. And we'll see if Manick can turn the tides in the win column today. Also tonight, we're going to see Brad taking on Logan Matrix. Of course, last week, Logan Matrix went one-on-one with Nick E. Nikki was looking to climb up the championship ladder here for the Openweight Championship, Garrett would come out and stick Nick in the face with a steel chair, therefore allowing Logan Matrix to take advantage and win the match. Tonight, with Nick defeated last week, Logan has set his sights on regaining the Openweight Championship. He takes on Brad for the Openweight Championship here tonight. And in our second warm-up, tune-up match, the women's champion will be in action. Chelsea will be facing a very tough opponent, one of the faces of the women's division, Emily Boss Babe Energy versus the women's champion tonight in what will surely be a very athletic contest. Also tonight, the Canadian champion back in action. Dustin takes on Nick B. Nick B, who has been on an absolute roll as of late. A number of wins in a row consecutively on Dark Side. He has now jumped up to the top contender spot for the Canadian Championship after Daniel's loss last week. So tonight he will have a non-title match against Dustin to try and prove that he can hang on the big stage against the Canadian champ. And in our main event, 1 week after Garrett came out and sent a receipt to Nick E with a steel chair across the dome, Garrett, Nick's boys, Ethan and Daniel, looking for a little bit of retribution. They're going to tag tonight to take on Aiden and Garrett. Of course, there will be no Nick in this matchup. Nick will not be at ringside. He's still at home. Did not clear concussion protocols. He should be back next week, but with a concussion, you can never be too careful. So Ethan and Daniel will look to exact some revenge for their fallen comrade by defeating Aiden and Garrett. Of course, the violent artist Kelsey will be at ringside. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our card. Let's get right into the action here on CCW Fight Night. Well, it's Friday, and you know what that means. Another episode of CCW Fight Night. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live here tonight from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, bringing you another raucous edition of CCW Fight Night from the Bell Center, home of the Montreal Canadiens. And tonight we kick things off with to me, what is a very weird situation. So last week, so over the past couple of weeks, Daniel has come out and made this claim that he is going to be the new top. He's going to be the first challenger for Dustin's Canadian Championship, saying that whatever opponent that Dustin faces and beats, he will face and beat the same opponent in quicker fashion and in a more dominant fashion. So last week, Daniel finally getting the opportunity to step into the ring with Dylan, one half of the Anarchists, after Dustin had beat him a number of weeks ago. And in this match, Daniel actually losing to Dylan, which was an upset in and of itself, but at the same time as Dylan winning the match and getting a victory over a top contender in the Canadian Championship division, he also knocked Daniel out of the top 5 contenders for the Canadian Championship. So obviously Daniel a little rattled, a little frustrated, a little angry at what had happened, went to CCW management and he said, "Hey, I want to make an example out of the Anarchists. I would like to see them in a tag team match with my boys, Nate Dogg and David. But I want it to happen inside of a steel cage. So tonight, these two gentlemen making their way to the ring. Donovan in the back, Dylan driving the car. These two men are basically being made scapegoats. These are the men. Dylan is who Daniel is putting all the blame on for losing his top 5 spot and potentially losing a spot on the upcoming Supercard. So he wants to make an example of them by putting them in a matchup with David and Nate Dogg. And he's hoping that Nate Dogg and David mop the floor with them. And, ladies and gentlemen, I think this could be an absolute bloodbath. Both of these teams, of course, the Anarchists, former tag team champions. Donovan, one of the most insane competitors in our locker room. Afraid to risk it all. But going up against two heavyweight strikers, two bad men like these two gentlemen here. David on the left, Nate Dogg on the right. These two men have bad intentions. Excuse me. Have bad intentions for their opponents tonight. And again, it's a very weird situation that Daniel would go, and that Daniel is able to request this match for. It just shows you the power that the Chicken Tendy crew have here in CCW. Anyway, anyway. But yes, it just shows the power that the Chicken Tendy crew hold over CCW as the cage now lowering down. David and Nate Dogg, and this match is underway, and this is going to be a fight, ladies and gentlemen. Pinfall, submission, or escaping the cage, the ways to win this matchup. And Donovan going to get it started early. Of course, Donovan himself on a little bit of a losing streak. Well, not really a losing streak, more of a holding a loss in his back pocket this past week. Of course, he put his hardcore championship up for grabs on this past episode of Dark Side against Nick B. And Nick B actually winning that championship. Is Donovan going to escape the cage here? And he will. Again, both partners need to escape the cage. So Donovan has now effectively eliminated himself from this matchup, leaving Dylan all alone in the ring with Nate Dogg and David. But I think David going to make the climb. I think David has confidence in Nate Dogg enough to take the win. And actually, both men going to look to escape the cage here. Dylan laid out. David almost over the top. Now Nate Dogg up to the top. And there goes David. And now Nate Dogg going to make his escape. Oh, but Dylan holding steady. Hits him again. He's going to try and drag Nate Dogg back into the ring. And he'll drag Nate Dogg back down from the top rope. David and Donovan now eliminated from this matchup. They will be of no help to their partners still in this match. And now it's going to be a foot race to the top of the cage. Dylan up top. Nate Dogg following him up. But Nate Dogg and Dylan now going to fight atop the cage. Oh! Head off the steel. Head off the steel once again. And now thrown back into the ring. Dylan's going to win this. Dylan is going to win this for his team. Oh my God. The former tag team champions This was supposed to be a message sender, but the Anarchists quickly put away the tag team of the Chicken Tendy crew, David and Nate Dogg. The Anarchists have defeated the Chicken Tendy crew. Daniel is probably backstage livid right now because his boys just had another massive upset at the hands of the Anarchists. I believe the Anarchists may be the kryptonite to the Chicken Tendy crew. A huge win for the Anarchists, don't get me wrong, but ladies and gentlemen, we now have to turn our attention to another heated rivalry here. Monique, the former women's champion, versus, I was going to say Chelsea, the current women's champion, but it's really been Monique versus the originals. The group of Chelsea, the current women's champion, Sarah and Tamara. These three women, Sarah, Chelsea, and Tamara, have been on an absolute roll since they debuted here in CCW. Huge wins over pretty much everybody on our women's roster. It has been very impressive to watch, and now, of course, Chelsea is the new women's champion, defeating Monique 1 week ago in that spectacular main event. But CCW management has now come out and said that Monique will get her rematch. For the women's championship at Birthday Bash. So there's a couple weeks between now and then. So a couple of tune-up matches for these ladies as they prepare for the championship match in a number of weeks. Tonight we're going to see the first of these tune-up matches over the next couple of weeks. We're going to see Monique versus Sarah, and let's send it down to ringside for ring introductions. And here comes the former women's champion, Monique. Still a little strange to see her walk out here without the women's championship around her waist. Although Monique says, from what I've heard, from what Monique has told us before the show, she doesn't plan on this being the way that she walks the ring for very long. She says that she plans on getting her championship back at CCW Birthday Bash. And ladies and gentlemen, if any other woman had said that, I would tend not to believe them. You know, they're hyping themselves up, blah, 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 blah. But Monique, a legit badass, and I do believe that she intends on taking her championship back. But tonight, she can't focus on the championship match at Birthday Bash. She's going to focus on her opponent across the ring from her, a woman who's already beaten her when she was women's champion, Sarah, making her way to the ring. Oh, excuse me. Oh, excuse me again. But Sarah, yes, making her way to the ring. Of course, a number of weeks ago, Sarah and Monique squared off in the ring. Sarah ended up winning that contest. And in what was an incredibly physical, incredibly good match. And Sarah, for every bit of toughness, for every bit of legit badass that Monique is, Sarah is just such a great athlete, so tough. Again, former basketball and rugby standout. And I'm sure that these two are going to give us another classic here tonight as Monique and Sarah start this off. And Monique going right after the legs of Sarah, trying to take the base out of her opponent. And Monique, such a great strategist, of course, going after the legs, trying to take out your opponent, cut your opponent down to size. Minik a little bit of a height advantage, if at all, in this, but still trying to take out the legs. Your opponent's offense no longer has a base, not a strong base to go off of. But now Sarah firing back. Big combination strike with a knee to the face. And that's what Sarah's got to do. She's got to show her toughness. Sarah's not going to go down without a fight. Big splash across the midsection into the cover. 1, 2, and a kick out by Minik. And of course, Minik going to have to rely a lot on the martial artist, on the martial arts background. Of course, as we've mentioned many times, former martial arts instructor, big martial arts background. She's going to have to definitely lean on that. I know that she's been in the Chicken Tendy Crew dojo working with her. She's been in the Chicken Tendy Crew dojo working with her friend Nick, of course, who's out currently, who will not be on the show tonight after suffering a concussion last week. Into the cover now, Sarah. 1, kick out by Minik. But Minik is just incredibly impressive as a pro, to see her development as a pro wrestler over the number of weeks leading up to our debut, and now to see where she's at 5 weeks in to CCW. It's been night and day as a professional wrestler, and I really think that comes from working with working at the Chicken Tendy Crew dojo, getting the opinion of Nick, who is such a student of the game. I noticed her talking to all the everybody that she can backstage. And now look at this modified STF of hers. Oh, this looks painful. And now is Sarah going to tap out here? This could be a real possibility. But Sarah breaks out. And Sarah, again, I've talked a lot about Minik in this matchup, but Sarah is tough as they come here in the women's division. Look at that hammerlock DDT. And now Sarah going to drag Minik into a better position, maybe for a cover here. 1, 2, and a 3. The hammerlock DDT puts down the former women's champion, and not a loss that you want to take as you head into your women's championship match. Sarah now 2-0 against Minik in singles matches. If you're Minik, this is a learning opportunity. You need to take what you've learned in this match into your next match. And if you're Chelsea, you're sitting backstage and you're loving this, because your friend, your stablemate, your tag team partner just put down your rival. Well, ladies and gentlemen, after a pretty short contest, Sarah really making some quick work here of the former women's champion. We now turn our attention from the women's championship division to the openweight championship division. Logan Matrix, Brad. This goes all the way back to week 1 of CCW Fight Night. CCW Fight Night episode 1 featured Logan Matrix versus Brad versus Nick E for the open weight championship. In that match, Brad thought he had the match won, hit a swanton on Nick E, went for the pin. Logan Matrix would come in the ring, break up the pin, throw Brad out of the ring, and pin Nick himself for the 1-2-3 to become the inaugural openweight champion. The following week, Brad challenging Logan for the openweight championship. He would win back the openweight championship. Logan didn't take that very well, and so he has jumped Brad from behind and found every kind of conceivable way to try and get back into the championship picture. Well, last week he did. And his opportunity came when a man named Garrett stormed down to the ring when Logan was squaring off with Nick E. Garrett swung a steel chair at the skull of Nick E., putting him down to the mat, and Logan was able to capitalize. And now tonight, now that he's reasserted himself at the top of the openweight championship division, he has challenged Brad here to a match. as he looks to become the first ever two-time open weight champion. Let's send it down to ringside for ring introductions. And here comes Logan Matrix. No VGHS cosplay today. A different attitude and a new look for Logan Matrix. No longer the man of the people. He's looking to make sure that tonight that Brad enters the Matrix, bitch. This is a new attitude, no longer really looking to the crowd as much as looking to the crowd for support. Really just consumed by this all-feeding need to become the open weight champion. Of course, the brutal attacks over the past several weeks on Brad and the constant bad-mouthing on social media as well as backstage has all led to this. For weeks, Logan Matrix has wanted this championship rematch, and tonight he's going to get it, and Brad happily obliged. Brad had this to say earlier when I was talking to him earlier. He said that if all Logan had to do was ask, and he would have given him an open weight championship match. He said, I've already beaten Logan Matrix. I don't need to know. I don't need to wonder if I can beat Logan. I know I can. And very strong words here from Brad, the openweight champion. Of course, a lot of people thought he got screwed in the triple threat match. A lot of support for him when he challenged the following week Logan Matrix to see if he could become the openweight champion. And over the past number of weeks, has really sat back and kind of let the situation develop, especially after the attack from behind backstage a number of weeks ago. But Brad tonight, fighting champion, and we're going to see if Brad can retain his championship or if, again, Logan Matrix becomes a two-time openweight champion. And look at that. I think one of the prettiest belts in CCW. I'd put it right up there with the YouTube Championship from Dark Side. But Logan Matrix look locked in, ready to go. I kind of dig the new look. I've just got to say it. I think I dig the new look. The green, the Enter the Matrix bitch t-shirt was freaking hilarious. But is this new look, this new coating on Logan Matrix, does it signal a new attitude? Does it signal a new je ne sais quoi? Excuse me, for Logan. Is Logan's new coat of paint going to be enough to propel him? Has he changed the attitude? Has he changed his mindset? And is that going to be enough to propel him over Brad, who has beaten him already? We'll find out once we ring the bell here. The Openweight Championship on the line. Let's get it on. Both these men very slow to come out of the corners, but now Brad, springboard cross body. Brad going to start off hot and heavy here tonight. And now reverse suplex by Brad. What a move here, and big splash into the cover. A 1, 2, and a kick out by Logan Matrix. And Brad just going to have some fun tonight. Brad says that the pressure is all off of him. He knows he can beat Logan. He knows what the weak spots are. And now into the Anaconda Vice, showing off a little bit of the submission game that he's got. And let's not mix anything here, ladies and gentlemen. The Openweight Championship division, as I've said in the past, is built on what you can do in between the ropes. The best of the best in-ring performers are in the Openweight Championship division. Logan Matrix, ring general. Brad, ring general. Nick E, ring general. All of these guys, everybody in the Openweight Championship division, ring generals. So good, so experienced, all with a love for professional wrestling. And sometimes that love of professional wrestling drives you to do some crazy things, like Logan. Logan definitely driven to do some crazy things because of his love of pro wrestling. When you get into pro wrestling, you get in to be the champion. And that is what Logan did. He wanted to be the champion so badly that, oh, and a big gutbuster. What a move there by Logan Matrix. And now Logan to the top rope. Brad sends a shot to him, and Logan still... big missile drop kick. And now Brad, big clothesline. But again, Logan wanted the championship so bad that he was willing to, oh, what a maneuver there. Sorry, he wanted the championship so bad that he would jump Brad from behind. And again, championships and the love of pro wrestling make you do some crazy things, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think Logan's a bad guy. I just think that he's a man who saw his opportunity as champion. He felt disrespected as the champion as he's putting on an athletic performance here into the cover 1, 2, and a kick out by Brad. He's just a man who saw his championship reign come and go and wants to get back to the top because he's tasted it. And that was all he had, was a taste. Big elbow drop. That could be 3. 1, 2, 3. And Logan Matrix, two-time open weight champion. Logan Matrix weathered the early onslaught from Brad, got his shot in, and then it was all elementary from there, my dear friends. Logan Matrix, once again, your open weight champion. And I am positive, ladies and gentlemen, that will not be the last time we see those two gentlemen in the ring for the Openweight Championship. But now we must turn our attentions from the new champ, Logan Matrix, to the current women's champion in her first tune-up match ahead of the women's championship match at Birthday Bash. It is going to be the current women's champion, Chelsea, taking on Emmy Lee, Boss Babe Energy. And really, what Chelsea's thinking about right now after the last week where she won the championship, and it was a very big moment, and it was a celebration. I think tonight she comes back down to earth. I think tonight she's reeled herself in enough. She's reeled herself in enough to... She was swept up in the celebration last week, but I think that this week she knows it's time to get back to work, especially after her opponent, Manik, lost to Sarah earlier. She knows that she's got to come out here with a better showing than Manik, and she's going to have to do it against a competitor that I personally think is a future women's champion, Emmy Lee, an incredible performer. Chelsea's going to have a real uphill battle today. But let's send it down to ringside for ring introductions. And there she is, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Boss Babe Energy, Emily, making her way to the ring. As I was saying before we cut to the ring entrances, I believe that Emily in the next 6 months will be women's champion. Put it down, write it down, put it in the record books. In the next 6 months, we will be looking. When Emily is walking in the ring, she will have the women's championship around her waist. I strongly believe this. She has been around this division for so long, competing at such a high level, that I believe that this is her moment. In the next 6 months, she will be women's champion. She may have to take the title from her opponent tonight. This young woman making her way to the ring now, the current women's champion, Chelsea. But she will be a women's champion. And of course, Chelsea, who last week defeated Manick in what was an incredible matchup. Chelsea really bringing it. Chelsea and Manick really bringing it to each other last week. Like, the physicality was off the charts in that match. And tonight, really, Chelsea out here trying to establish her championship reign and what that pace is going to be like for her title reign. And she's going to have to do it against one of the top competitors in the women's division, a potential future contender. So maybe down the line at another supercard, this could be the women's championship match. But as of right now, for Birthday Bash, it is Chelsea versus Manick for the women's championship, as Emily takes the early advantage. Chelsea back to her feet, but then, wow, throwing back down into the mat, and into the cover goes Emily. One, and a kick out by Chelsea. And we talk about Chelsea, again, the momentum that her, Sarah, Tamara, the originals have had since they debuted in this company has been incredible. Win after win after win for these young women, and it has been a joy to watch. These three ladies have absolutely torn it up in the ring, and now Chelsea showing off a little bit of power here against Emily. Boom! A couple of squats and then into a vertical suplex. An absolute beautiful display there. Big drop kick to the back. And this is kind of what I want out of Chelsea. I want her to kind of set the pace in this matchup for how her reign is going to look as the queen of the division. And now Emily back to the top rope. Another frog splash. And she's really showing off that boss babe energy tonight. I know a lot of... she's a real fan favorite. Into the cover. 1, 2, and a kick out by Chelsea. And Chelsea really been on the back foot this entire match so far. But hopefully she can turn it around here. But not looking very likely is big combination here by Emily. And now whipping her into the corner. And Emily has looked tremendous in this matchup, keeping the women's champion basically in whatever she wants to do. Big lucha style arm drag, and now the banks, and now possibly boss statement. But in the ropes is Chelsea, but I think the damage was done to the lower back. I think Emily's going to go into the pin here. This could be it for Chelsea. 1, 2, 3, and that is her first official loss here in CCW. Her first official loss. The first official loss of any of the originals. Emily picking up a huge victory over the women's champion. And I don't know what means more to who. Is it the loss Is it the win that Emily just picked up over the women's champion that now puts her in top 5 contention? Or is it the loss that Chelsea just suffered the same night as Monique, her challenger for the Supercard? We'll find out as we get closer and closer to the Supercard. Again, things always in flux with Supercards and shows going forward. So we'll see where this road takes us. But now, ladies and gentlemen, we turn our attention to a man who has missed... Oh, excuse me. Who missed some time, who missed last week's show after he was sent home following an attack, following attacking his rival Daniel. Dustin, our Canadian champion, will be in action tonight, and he's in action with his new top contender non-title match, Nick B. Nick B, the Monster Mind, has been picking up a lot of steam lately. He was recently featured on Dark Side a number of weeks in a row. He has picked up consecutive wins, including a hardcore championship victory over Donovan. Yes, Nick B, your new hardcore champion. If you didn't know, that happened on this previous episode of Dark Side, so go check that out if that's on the channel. But tonight, this man coming to the ring right now, the Monster Mind, Nick B, going to show off the new hardcore title that he's wearing, the new championship around his waist, but also going to try and earn himself a potential Canadian championship match at Birthday Bash. Of course, Nick B really a stroke of luck last week for Nick B that he had been featured on Dark Side and picked up wins on consecutive weeks on Dark Side, while Daniel was unfortunately losing to Dylan on last week's episode, because now that makes Nick B the top contender in the Canadian Championship division. And I think that if it's going to be Nick B and Dustin, I feel like they're going to show us here tonight that these two big men are definitely a match that I want to see for the championship at some point. Nick B now looking up as the Canadian champion makes his way to the ring. A champion versus champion match, if you will. And here comes Dustin. Dustin, of course, in the Dallas Mavericks jersey. Luka Doncic. Of course, Luka Doncic and the Mavs actually forcing Game 7 against the Phoenix Suns in the NBA playoffs right now. So not a bad jersey to wear if you're if you're in a championship mindset. And Dustin, he's one of the many competitors who's really changed since the last time that CCW was around. Dustin in a really dark place before the rebrand. He was a member of the Masters of the Game, but in the time off between Christmas Chaos and the rebrand and re-debut, he became a father, a family man. He's now a changed competitor, all about the positive energy he puts out into the world. And it's really shown, it's really been a truly incredible journey to watch. And one of the reasons that I'm so happy that he is our Canadian champion, really a huge positive influence here on the roster, as well as in his own community. And I'm sure his family watching tonight from home as Papa steps in the ring and looks to take down his top contender and that Canadian championship. Oh, wow, that looks gorgeous. And you know, Dustin has said already that he wants to be the main event on the Supercard. And I think no matter what happens, no matter who he faces, I think that's going to be the case. Dustin now, just look at the strength picking up Nick B. These two men, two super heavyweights, going to go blow for blow in the middle of this ring. I hope the ring is reinforced, because these two men are, this is King Kong Godzilla levels of fight. Boom! Big rolling punch there by Dustin. And this is going to be one hell of a colossal clash. Nick B and Dustin off to the early advantage. And now look at this. Look at the power. Press slam. Oh, and now moonsault. The athleticism of Dustin. And again, this is, ladies and gentlemen, Dustin, arguably the more athletic competitor in this matchup, but for Nick B, his number one weapon is his mind. That's why they call him the monster mind. The smart places to throw in reversals, the intricacies of working holds and different ways to put holds, to put pressure on different points of the body. That's what Nick B brings to the table. Dustin, a lot of athleticism, but he's got to neutralize, he's got to stay out of the predicaments that Nick B's trying to put him in. And right now he's doing a great job of that, now taunting to the crowd, showing them why he is the man here in CCW. And now, oh, went for the kick to the midsection, but Nick B catches it, kick to the midsection of his own. Oh, and this is how he put away his competition on Dark Side. Jackknife powerbomb. Gonna drag Dustin to the middle of the ring. I think he's gonna go for a pinfall here. Into the cover goes Nick B. 1, 2. Kick out by the Canadian champion. You're not gonna put Dustin down like that. Dustin will always keep fighting. And now Nick B gonna try and put him down for good. Power slam into the cover, but his foot's in the ropes. Rope break, and that may have just saved Dustin's chances in this match. Big crossbody takes down Nick B. I was going to say takes down the big man, but both these men just huge human beings. Big splash from the top rope, and when's the last time you saw a guy like that, Dustin size, come off the top rope? 1, 2, and a kick out by Nick B. And these two men are throwing bombs, ladies and gentlemen. Dustin calling for something here. Feast your eyes into the cover, rope break. These two men are so big, they can't, you have to be directly in the middle of the ring to pin one of these guys. They are so tall as well as just big that they will get out of it. Oh, and just launching Nick B across the ring. And it's not just the size of these guys that impresses me. It's the strength. They are able to just pick each other up and throw each other around like they're nothing. And these are two guys that are very equal in size, and that almost Vulcan nerve pinch type of hold, bringing Nick B to his knees. And now Dustin looking to capitalize. He's got all the momentum in the world right now. Gonna take Nick B over to the ropes. Whip off the ropes. Oh, misses the clothesline. Oh, the pounce. He just pounced Nick B into the ropes on the far side of the ring. 1, 2, 3. Dustin, the Canadian champion, picks up the huge win in a battle of gargantuan proportions. Dustin shows off why he is the Canadian champion. All heart and willing to take on any challenger. If you're Dustin, a huge win for you here as you knock off your new top contender. And if you're Nick B, you can still take a win out of this, because now You've gotten in there. You've gotten in the ring with Dustin. You've now felt what it's like to be in there with the champ. You now know what the champ can throw at you. So now you gotta take notes going forward and improve on certain things so that you can try and take the championship from him down the road if you get a championship opportunity. But Dustin keeps putting fools down. And I don't know who's going to be able to step up and take him off of his throne. But they better do it quickly, because Dustin just keeps gaining momentum every week. Well, ladies and gentlemen, from a feel-good story, or from a feel-good moment, a feel-good story in our Canadian champion, to a story that is just filled with so much heartbreak and heartache and hardship. This all started when a number of weeks ago, Garrett was set to go one-on-one with Ethan. Garrett was jumped from behind by his former tag team partner, Nick E. Jumped from behind, and then the next week, Aiden, Garrett's tag team partner, came to the ring. Garrett's new tag team partner came to the ring, tried to stand up for Garrett. He tapped out to Nick E. The following week, Nick E. had said he had put all of this behind him. He was ready to move on, look to the championships. Last week, during a match where Nick E. had the early advantage over Logan Matrix, Garrett would come to the ring and would swing a steel chair for the fences, rattling off the skull of Nick E. Logan would beat Nick E. in that matchup, and Garrett would send a message saying, "You may be done with me. You may think you're done with me, but I'm not done with you." Well, Nicky is not here tonight, so he and Garrett cannot step in the ring and settle their animosity between the two of them. He's there currently at home recovering in the concussion protocols. So Ethan and Daniel, Nick's stablemates in the Chicken Tendy crew, have stepped up. They have stepped up to get a little bit of retribution for their buddy by taking on Aiden and Garrett in a tag team match. And this time, for the first time that I can remember in this reboot, the Chicken Tendy crew don't have the numbers advantage because the violent artist Kelsey will be at ringside for Garrett and Aiden. So who will win? Will the Chicken Tendy crew avenge their fallen comrade, or will Garrett and Aiden send another message to Nick E saying that this is far from over? Let's send it down to ringside for ring introductions. And of course, making their way down to the ring, Ethan and Daniel, two members, 2/5 of the Chicken Tendy crew. Daniel in 30, wearing the number 34, Ethan wearing 88. And these two men are hoping to have a better performance than their other Chicken Tendy crew counterparts earlier. They're hoping to pick up a victory here. Daniel and Ethan, their first time tag teaming in a tag team match, a straight up 2-on-2 tag team match together. And these two, of course, very close friends, looking to pick up their first official victory as a tag team here tonight. And they're also looking to get a little bit of payback against one of the men who put their partner out of action. Here he is, Garrett and Aiden making their way to the ring. The Fam Jam, accompanied by Kelsey, the fiance of Aiden. Garrett, of course, last week. I don't condone violence very often, ladies and gentlemen. I don't condone violent actions. But last week, I am so proud of what Garrett did to Nick E, standing up to that piece of shit. Nick turned his back on these men, these two men right here, when he joined the Chicken Titty crew. He jumped Garrett from behind. He put Garrett on the shelf and then said, "Hey, I've proven that I didn't need you. You needed me." And then went to tap out his friend, his former friend Aiden. Nick has thrown his entire legacy here in CCW out the window by joining the Chicken Titty crew. And so when Garrett came out and threw that chair shot with reckless abandon into the skull of Nick, I celebrated, because Garrett stood up to that absolute motherfucker. And I am so happy that he took a stand against these Chicken Titty crew guys who think that they just own this place for no reason. But that's my personal feelings aside. Let's get into this matchup. Ethan had the early advantage against Aiden, but now Aiden and Daniel in the ring. Well, now outside the ring, Aiden gonna powerbomb Daniel onto the floor there. And I believe Aiden and Daniel not really familiar with each other's styles in the ring. I don't believe that they've ever faced each other in one-on-one competition. Big poison run on the outside. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but that was incredible. Excuse me. And now Aiden and Daniel, both members of the heavyweight division for the longest time, pre-rebrand, and now a count of 8. Daniel and Aiden 9. And now back in the ring, the referee really letting them have the long last second before the 10 count. Aiden now, powerbomb position. And he's going to powerbomb Daniel on the outside. But yeah, these two men, I don't think have ever faced each other in a singles match or even in tag team competition in my memory. Both men staples of the heavyweight division for the long time before the reboot. But I don't think I've ever faced off in singles competition. And now Ethan into the ring. And he's going to work over Aiden a little bit. Of course, the new... beating the YouTube wrestling champion, Oscar, on Dark Side. Hold on here, as Garrett makes his way into the ring. And now Garrett and Ethan, what an athletic contest that these two could have and have had. And keep in mind, this was the match that we were supposed to have a number of weeks ago when this whole thing kicked off. These two men, two of the most athletic members of our roster. And yes, as I was saying, Ethan putting handing an L to, oh wow, look at the athleticism of Garrett, handing an L to our YouTube wrestling champion Oscar on Dark Side this week, possibly earning himself a future championship shot. But tonight, focusing on gaining a little retribution here for his fellow Chicken Titty crew member, and a plancha to the outside by Garrett. And you see the violent artist Kelsey standing nearby, and Garrett snaps suplex on the outside right at the feet of Kelsey. And Kelsey, we haven't seen a lot of her on Fight Night recently. She was really hit hard by her loss in the championship match. She's spent a couple weeks of training, preparing for her next opponent, and now finally making an appearance here on Fight Night. And Garrett with the Spaceman plancha over the top, the somersault plancha over the top rope, knee to the face, and Ethan's been busted open, the bridge of his nose cut open with that knee strike. DDT on the outside, and Garrett is in full control of this one, ladies and gentlemen. big hands being thrown. Now Garrett snaps suplex on the outside. And if you're right now, you've got to be thinking that Garrett is picturing Nick E. He's picturing Ethan as Nick E. He is letting go of all the frustration, all the anger he holds. Count of 9. Ref is going to count them out here. And that's a count-out victory for the Fam Jam. Garrett slides back under the rope at 10. But the referee counts it. The Fam Jam, Aiden and Garrett Fam Jam have won this tag team match. Ladies and gentlemen, what Garrett showing a little bit of a dark side there. He just beat the shit out of Ethan on the outside until Ethan couldn't answer the count. And as I was saying, you gotta believe that he was picturing Ethan as Nick E. These two men are going, once Nick E returns to action, him and Garrett are going to step in the ring, and they are going to fight. And it is going to be beautiful violence, ladies and gentlemen. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was our main event. I hope that you enjoyed today's card. I hope that you'll join us future streams. Again, we stream every Friday. We stream Fight Night every Friday here. And on Tuesday we will have a new episode of Dark Side coming out. And ladies and gentlemen, I cannot promote this enough. June 18th or 19th, we're gonna, on Father's Day this year, Father's Day 2022, the first super card is going to go live on the channel. Yes, we are gonna have CCW Birthday Bash. CCW Birthday Bash, our first ever super card. One match has been confirmed for it as of yet. It is going to be Manick challenging Chelsea for the Women's Championship. That is the only confirmed match. Over the next couple of weeks, we will confirm some more matches for you. And it is going to be everyone. The super card is going to be everybody. It's going to be Fight Night. It's going to be Dark Side. So I hope that you guys keep up and keep up to date with everything that's happening here in the CCW Custom Universe mode. But ladies and gentlemen, that has been our show. I am Celtic Fan 97. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and for continuing to watch this. This has been a very pleasant experience for me as well. This is really fun for me to do, and I thank you guys so much for tuning in. Those of you who do tune in and watch this, thank you guys so much. And as always, have a wonderful day. Bye.